point, Max.
productive sectors within the economy.
But my point is that Greek economy has been targeted by the banks on Wall Street, including Goldman Sachs, for 10 years to say that, well, there was only $2 billion initially. That's the defense of a rapist. And to say that it was only $2 billion is saying, well, they were just a little bit pregnant with massive fraud. That has just escalated over the past 10 years. Goldman Sachs and the Wall Street banks already own now, I believe, the lottery system and the airport fees. They're going to go after other income-producing aspects of the Greek economy. They're going to bust it out. It's arson. They want to burn that Greek economy down. They want to control the income-producing properties, and they're going to move on to the next weakest link in the Eurozone, probably Portugal. The Greek people need to stand up to financial terrorism or lose their freedom and sovereignty. It's as simple as that.
Greece is now in a position where it looks likely that it's going to have to activate this loan, this emergency rescue package mechanism. What about the small print to that? Because the devil's in the detail, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, Shirley. It's a stealth takeover of all the income-producing assets of Greece, and they're using this current bond crisis, which is manufactured by Wall Street and the hedge funds. The crisis is manufactured. It's not a natural, organic crisis that's happening from just on its own. It's a controlled assassination of the Greek bond market by financial terrorists. Is the Greek government appeasing terrorism? It's exactly what they're doing. The Greek people need to seek a regime change and get rid of this government because they're in bed with the financial terrorists.
Okay.
Or lay down.
Okay, so as Max points out, there are worries over the conditions that the IMF will impose if its emergency plan is activated. MP Dimitris Papadimoulis told Parliament the IMF's involvement, quote, was like a cloud of volcanic ash over Greeks. They feel that for years the Prime Minister will be Dominique Strauss-Kahn, referring there to the IMF's managing director. Martina, it's difficult to see what choice the Greeks have, but how much concern is there that the IMF's conditions will actually mean even harsher conditions for Greeks?
I think there are grounds that make these concerns very reasonable. The IMF's track record shows that it tends to impose very, very stringent measures. And the problem here is, and this is why this is a very unique case, Greece is a member of the European Union. Greece is in the Eurozone, uses the euro. It's not a developing country where we have seen what the IMF has done in the past. So there is a lot to be said about the Greeks clinging on to the national sovereignty and trying to preserve that minuscule of decision-making for themselves that they've got left. Now, if the IMF is to move in and demand a rapid and radical change of the labour market, which is one of the things on its checklist, then we are going to see very, very serious trouble on the ground in Athens, I fear. However, I don't know if it's wise to speculate that this is in fact going to happen.
I was going to ask you to speculate that. I was going to ask you, what do you mean by trouble on the ground in Athens?
I'm not an oracle. I'm not an oracle. I think what should be mentioned is that this is a very new situation. It's a hybrid mechanism for support. It has the Greek government, the European officials from the European Central Bank and the Commission, and the IMF officials. Now, we never know what goes on behind closed doors, but if those three parties can sit down and negotiate realistic measures that will activate the mechanism, give Greece these funds at lowest interest rates than the ones she's getting on the market, and at the same time not squeeze the life out of the Greek economy and the Greek population, then that could actually be a good thing, because it would be funds at a more affordable, though not low, interest rate. But that we are not in a position to speculate on that right now. I think over the next few days we'll have a very clear view of what's going on really behind those closed doors.
Max, I guess the question is how much negotiating power George Papandreou is going to have.
Shirley, let me explain something to you. 6 months ago, John Paulson sat down with Goldman Sachs bankers in Greece, took a picture of the situation, and started to short Greek bonds. This is the same John Paulson who's now named in the lawsuit, the SEC, against Goldman Sachs for massive market abuse, market manipulation. Don't you get it? They picked Greece as a hit. and they're destroying it because they want to take it down. There's no out. There's no way out of this because they're not going to listen to reason.
So you obviously come at this from a hugely economic. You've got a much bigger economic brain than I have. What do you mean they want to take Greece down?
These are suicide bankers, basically, who are short Greek bonds. They make a ton of money as those bonds collapse, just like they made a ton of money as Lehman Brothers collapsed, as Wall Street collapsed, as the mortgage market in America collapsed. John Paulson made a lot of money. Now John Paulson is short Greek bonds.
Okay.
He's there with Goldman Sachs.
All right, let me bring Vangelis in.
And he's making money on the collapse.
I can understand the concept.
Of the economy.
I can understand the concept where banks want to make money and perhaps aren't behaving scrupulously. But what do you make of what Max is saying, that Greece was deliberately targeted and Greek bonds are being shorted?
Look, I take a much calmer view on this. There's no question about it. Goldman Sachs does prey on the weak. And, Greece has become weak because of its own doing, not because of Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs may have helped at the end and may well have benefited, as, it seems to be the case at the moment. However, Greece actually sowed the seeds of its own demise. We do have to look much deeper than just blaming Goldman Sachs. I think Greek mentality, Greek government, Greek political will has not been there to make significant reforms, significant structures, to gain confidence, to become a reliable nation, to actually prove ourselves to be not a developing nation, but a developed one.